What's up, big dogs? It's Lerald. Alright, so as I said in our last video, our next one is probably going to be a warrior leveling guide, and yes, here it is. So I have made my decision for the coming league. I am going to play warrior at the start of patch 0.3. I don't care if it's bad. It's fun, I like it, I don't think it's bad, and I'm going to figure out how to make it good. It's definitely not going to be the fastest build at end game, but that's fine. Like, figuring out all the new and reworked skills is going to be more fun to me than playing the same old lightning arrow Deadeye I already know inside and out, even if it is a little bit slower in maps. I also think Warrior is going to feel way better than Deadeye in the campaign, just based on my experience of playing both classes through the campaign several times now. Warrior dominates campaign bosses in a way that no other class really does. Anyways, let's get into it, but first be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and join our Discord as well. We're closing in on 1,000 members, and that's a really big milestone we want to hit before the league launches. Alright, so let's take a look at the passive tree. Now I'll just say first and foremost, rather than repeating it a bunch of times later on, I'll say it once. We don't know exactly what's going to change with the tree and support gems. PoE is obviously not updated. I'm going to walk through what I'm doing right now in the campaign on Warrior Warrior run-throughs. And then I think the general outline for the class will remain the same, but some of the specific details of like good notables and good support gems may change. I'm totally fine with doing an improvisational approach. That's totally fine. Change is fun. I'm just saying that now so I don't have to say it again. Alright, so this is kind of the standard like Act 1 run like loadout. Like I come out through melee damage, take damage stuff, take brutal, take smash. Then I like to come over here and take sturdy metal and relentless and actually wear a piece of like armor based body armor just to make myself quite a lot tankier early on. Reverberating impact gives you some AoE, right? Then from there I kind of just build outward into like damage stuff, and then because we're not bothering with Giant's Blood and because there is kind of an incentive to use weapon swapping now that like there's no time penalty on weapon swapping, I'm going to spec it like I'm going to take advantage of the dual weapon speccing, and put a bunch of points into one-handed weapons with a one-handed weapon and shield setup, and put a bunch of points into two-handed weapons with a straight two-handed weapon setup, and basically use shield charge and leap slam with one-handed weapons to like get through zones, and then switch over to two-handers once I've stunned bosses and just blast them with perfect strike or supercharged slam or sunder or whatever. I'm also wanting to take advantage of the changes that they're making to Warcry, so I am putting some points into Warcry nodes here as well. I may put even more depending on how they work out. The fact that Warcries will empower like a lot of skills, like potentially up to 5 skills each, and then maybe 6 with vocal empowerment if that still exists, means that you're going to get a lot of like increased damage. You know, you get a lot of increased damage on all your empowered attacks, and there's some good support gems for that, so I'm kind of building into that. And then I'm also going to build into this one mace cluster over here, and then just kind of try and do everything I can to get like area of effect damage, all that kind of stuff. Get big clear, get big blasting, some defensive nodes in there as well. Now, I don't know if this will be in the coming patch or not, but Cranial Impact seems like a really like undervalued node, just like a way to generate endurance charges, which there wasn't like a ton of value in generating endurance charges in the past, but with that allowing you to overwrite or ignore the cooldown on Warcries, like that seems pretty good with the new Ancestral Warrior Totem costing 3 endurance charges, but using your weapon, that could be really good. So totems could be a good play style. They're not really something I'm planning to go after, but it could work out. So with Giant's Blood not like being great anymore, you know, it cuts your life from strength in half. I don't think strength stacking is going to wind up being good. I guess I'm building that in the like level 97 version of the build, but I don't really think I'm going to wind up running that. I think my goal is actually to get into Act 3 and then try to switch over to like Fire Warrior stuff. But we're kind of just going to see how that goes. So that's like a basic campaign progression. This will absolutely torch bosses in the campaign, so all good here. All right, now I'm going to talk about the Ascendancy options. So the thing about Ascendancies is I'm going to be playing Titan. I think that's like the coolest, most interesting one. Hulking form is just insanely strong. The issue with that is that the first Ascendancy for Titan, if you just go directly to Colossal Capacity, is terrible. You get a backpack, like that's nothing. So I think what I'm going to wind up doing is just taking Mysterious Lineage with my first 2 points, and then when I unlock my second Ascendancy, I'll just spec out, spend some gold, spec out of that, and go straight to Hulking Form. And then like my third Ascendancy will probably just be Mysterious Lineage again, and then last one will be Earthbreaker. 25% chance for slam skills you use, since I am planning to play a slam build. Aftershocks are a free 100% extra damage, or whatever, 100% more damage on a slam that they proc on. It's like, I think, a 1 or 2 second delay. So 25% more damage on all your slams seems sick. And then also getting like more AoE out of the small passive isn't bad. So I think that's ultimately going to be the approach I play with. You know, maybe there's potential to do something with surprising strength, 50% more damage on heavy stun enemies, pretty nice. And astrally or ancestrally boosting every other slam skill is also pretty nice, so that might be a move instead of 15% more life, but more life's pretty basic, pretty good. So there are some other options though for your first Ascendancy. Like you could do Smith of Kitava and run a horrible normal body armor, and then take leather bindings. This was definitely the play in last league. Take this 5% life per second. It's going to be really easy to live through any boss fight. The problem is this is getting nerfed down to like 3 or 3.5%. Then I don't really know what you would want to do with the other point. You could just put it into 15% life here, or 75% fire res, and at least be capped on fire res. Then you could put your next 2 points into Coal Stoker. That's probably a very safe play. Like, you get some life regen, you very easily cap all your resistances in the campaign in early phases of leveling, or in-game. But, like, that just seems very boring to me. Like, it's just an insanely boring Ascendancy. So I don't really want to play Smith of Kitava at all. And I think, you know, Titan really just does it for me. I think Warbringer seems like good. Like, I know a lot of people have been hating on the new Turtle Charm because it doesn't provide, like, a lot of percent damage reduction overall. Like just 1 or 2%, but it provides a massive amount of damage smoothing, like by guaranteeing that you're gonna, if you could have 100% block chance, but you took half damage from all blocks, everyone would want to opt into that. It's 50% damage reduction. That's insane. So the idea that you take 30% of damage from all blocks and you can get up to 75% of block, like that is being treated as bad compared to 100% of 50%. Like, you know, I don't know. I think that Turtle Charm is totally fine, but it will require quite a bit more investment in order to make it good. So I don't really want to start out with that as my approach for like first character, especially in an Ascendancy that's very totem oriented and not loving totems. I'm just going to go with the like more generic power of hulking form. Seems a little more fun to me. Also, Titan is just like, it's the best name of all the 3 Ascendancies. I think I like the art the most. So yeah, just that's doing it for me ultimately. All right, now let's talk about skills. So when you wake up on the beach, you're going to get a one-hander and a shield. Shields actually reduce your movement speed if they're your currently equipped weapon slot. Like I could show on this character here, my move speed is like 5% because of body armor also reducing your move speed by quite a bit, and then shield reducing your move speed by quite a bit. So technically speaking, when you're running around on the beach, you want to like not actually equip that shield, but you do want to hang on to a shield to use with shield charge later on, so you can put it in your offhand or whatever. You could use it to block while you're fighting the miller, like that's fine. And then what you want to do is get a 2-hander as quickly as you can. You know, buy one from the NPC in town, your dad in town, and then there you go. You'll have yourself a nice 2-hander to play with. So the first 3 skills that you're going to get are going to be Rolling Slam. You'll get that for free, you know, automatically. That'll be given to you on the opening beach. And then your first 2 gems that you're going to cut are going to be Bone Shatter and Earthquake. And so the way that you use these together, if I can like just jump into a zone here. Rolling Slam is 2 hits. The first hit does a lot of extra stun buildup, and then the second hit does a lot of extra damage to heavy stunned enemies. So we can see in the tooltip here, first slam, 50% more stun buildup, and then in the second one, 50% more damage against heavy stunned enemies. Also a lot more damage. And so what Rolling Slam, because of that heavy stun buildup, and Bone Shatter do together is they create this very simple comboing playstyle. I'm having to switch over to a one-hander here so I don't one-shot these guys, because a 2-hander would do that. So you can see, by hitting them with that first hit, you can animation cancel out of it, and you can see they all light up. That means they're ready to be, they're primed for a heavy stun by Bone Shatter, and when you hit them with a heavy stun from Bone Shatter, it'll cause them to explode and blast everything nearby, like so. A lot of that comes from the impact shockwave. You know, they already deal a large AoE shockwave, 286% attack damage here at level 5. That's pretty good. And then you can make it so that it doubles that with the impact shockwave support gem. So pretty good, right? And you can start using this combo like as soon as you get into the area right outside of town, which is like pretty great. You're gonna just be walking around looking for big packs of monsters that you kind of gather up like this, hit them with one hit, and then 2, and usually the combo will go like 1 hit, 2 hit. Very quick combo that you can animation cancel out of that second hit. And when you're on a boss, you can actually just hit them with both hits. That totally works fine. So Earthquake right now isn't really that great. It's still working fine in like my practice run through Act 1 here, but Earthquake is getting like a 25% buff in the coming patch, and so that is something that you can just throw into a combo. You can just cut that as your third gem, throw down an Earthquake, then hit him with a Rolling Slam. I did that on Barrow the Frost Witch in the first area, and she absolutely melted from that, right? So that's something you can basically use all the way up until you unlock Perfect Strike. Kind of late in Act 1, you just use Earthquake as like a comboing skill, throw it down before a boss is just about to spawn, and then hit them with Rolling Slam, you know, and then they'll kind of get nuked by that. So once you hit level 6, you'll get gem level 3. Then you're going to be able to pick up Shield Charge, and Shield Charge is getting a bit of a change in the coming patch. It's not going to do as much damage, and some of that damage is going to be based on like traveling longer distances, but there's going to be no cooldown at all, so it's much more spammable. Right now it has a 3-second cooldown that only starts after you've finished like the entire charge, so it's like quite a lot harder to use in the current state of the game. Even though it's losing some damage, I really do think it's going to get buffed. And it also has more stun buildup, so it's going to be pretty good for like building up a stun on enemies. So you want to save at least one support gem to put Stomping Ground on that, and Stomping Ground is the support gem. It triggers a shockwave whenever you take a step using the supported skill, and that shockwave, assuming this still exists, is 100% attack damage, or 100 to 150% of your strength is physical damage. There is a radius on it. If you hook in Overpower, that will give more stun buildup. If you hook in Lacerate, that gives a 50% chance to inflict bleeding off of those Stomping Ground hits, which means a lot more damage in the form of a bleed. Either of these can be really good if you're just using it to like build up stun on bosses, which is mostly how I use it, along with just like getting around a little bit more quickly than walking, although maybe that's not necessary with sprint being in the game. It's definitely safer than sprint. It actually raises your shield so you can't be hit while you're charging in, you know, until you hit something and then it comes to a dead stop. But yeah, as you can see, like Shield Charge is definitely working pretty well. And all of the damage from Shield Charge is based off of your offhand, like your shield's armor value. None of that is based on your shield or your main hand weapon at all. So you could just use like a stat stick with like plus level of gem skills and some like strength, and that's kind of it. You don't really need like any damage rolls on your weapon at all for the purposes of dealing damage with Shield Charge anyway. So then a thing that you can run is Shockwave Totem. I haven't personally used Shockwave Totem, but since totems are supposedly going to start using your weapon, maybe this will be good, maybe it won't. I don't know. I don't really care for it, but I know a lot of people do like it, so that's a thing you can do. I kind of prefer Infernal Cry, and that'll sort of be my combo, is I will like Shield Charge and hit him with the first slam of Rolling Slam to build up a lot of stun, maybe like just some basic mace strikes. Then I'll Infernal Cry once they're heavy stunned, and hit him with like Earthquake and both hits of Rolling Slam, and usually that'll just combo bosses down in the first act really easily. Once you unlock Perfect Strike, that's then perfect for comboing with Infernal Cry. You'll Infernal Cry once they're heavy stunned, then hit them with a Perfect Strike that's now empowered by that Infernal Cry, doing a bunch of extra damage. Pretty basic stuff, right? The only real like skill or difficulty to it is just like making sure that you are holding off until they are heavy stunned to hit them with the Infernal Cry, and then waiting long enough and not mistiming your Perfect Strike. It is slow as hell, which is like why I'm not the hugest fan of it, but you know, it's still mathematically amazing. But if you don't like it, I think that Earthquake is still going to be quite good in the coming patch. I also think Supercharged Slam is going to be pretty competitive in the coming patch, and like both of those are definitely a lot less irritating to use than Perfect Strike. So yeah, the big thing here is that you want to do any of these big heavy hits, you want to map those to be with your two-hander. So I have two-hander in my weapon 1 slot, and sword and board, or well, one-hander and shield in my weapon 2 slot. So for Perfect Strike here, for example, I don't want this to be something that I can use with both. Like I don't want to be shield charging and proccing a stun and then hitting them with a one-handed Perfect Strike. I did do a playthrough of the campaign doing exactly that on purpose to see how bad it was, and it was fine. But yeah, I mean, it did like a third of the damage of using a two-hander, so there's just no reason to handicap yourself. It's stupid, especially now that there is no penalty on like weapon swap time. So that's all the skills in Act 1. You kind of are like basically online in Act 1. The only thing that you really pick up in Act 2 is Leap Slam, and you can kind of sub that in for Shield Charge. I don't have it on this character yet, because I think you don't get it until level 22 or 24. So I'll just swap over to a character that has it, but basically the way that the character plays once you have Leap Slam is a real pleasure. All right, so here's like a bit of a demonstration of Leap Slamming and Bone Shattering through an area that has a bunch of monsters in it. Leap Slam, they're all primed for Bone Shatter. Hit them with the Bone Shatter. You just keep comboing Bone Shatters together, right? So this is a character that is using a one-hander and shield only, just to like see how bad it could be. And this is like a level 22 one-hander, and I'm like level 46 on this character, so very deliberately like handicapping myself just to see, is it bad? And the answer is no. It's pretty great. It's really breezing through like all of these mapping areas pretty easily, while also like that probably is literally an upgrade that just dropped. But yeah, like it's breezing through all these areas like trivially easy, and it has a shield equipped, so like pretty tanky. And you can just do this for like all of this and then only use two-hander for like eliminating bosses and rares, and that works really well. As you can see, it's working like just fine. Yeah, very smooth. And then you have some of the nice explosion comboing out of like Herald of Ash. And then I'm also using Overwhelming Presence as my second aura, just to make it easier to like ignite and build up stun on enemies. Really, really trivially easy to build up stun. And the reason that everything is primed for stun instead of just getting heavy stun by me leap slamming on them is because of this support gem, Brink. So you can't get to 100% stun chance or a stun buildup with this. So they're immediately primed for Bone Shatter as soon as you land on their heads, and you're ready to just like pop them. All right, so then once we get into in-game, or kind of toward the end of the campaign, and then further into in-game, we have some things like third aura. I think you could use Magma Barrier or Scavenge Plating. If you have enough dexterity, you could use like War Banner or Defiance Banner as well. I didn't put those in here, but you could. Hammer of the Gods is something you're going to want to like tap into using once it becomes available. You'll build up the ability to use it by heavy stunning enemies. We're heavy stunning enemies like crazy, so this is like really good for comboing onto bosses. You heavy stun them, then you drop the hammer on their heads, they're dead now. Pretty simple. And then we have a bunch of unknowns. Shield Wall got like a huge change to the amount of like damage it contributes. Now the damage numbers in the tooltip look horrendous, but the video of it looks really good. I do wonder if maybe like it says it does like a very small amount of damage per wall segment, but 100% more damage when you blow up the walls. I wonder if maybe there are more than one wall segment per shield wall you drop down. Like if there's like 4 shield walls that you drop down at a time, it kind of looked like from the footage, which is super hard to tell, that enemies were like attacking multiple segments at once. But I don't know. This might wind up being absolutely nothing. It might wind up being good. Who knows? Again, same with Sunder, like Sunder and Supercharged Slam. These are both getting like quality of life improvements, buffs, maybe. Sunder, maybe not, but like definitely some sort of usability improvements to make it like competitors for Perfect Strike, so you could maybe try using either of those instead. Forge Hammer's a new skill. It's not even in PoB yet. I have no idea if this is going to be good or not, but it looked cool in the video unveiling it, so I'm going to try to make it work, try and make a whole Fire Warrior thing work entirely. It seems like the way you're going to play with it is just run around throwing the hammer and then recalling it and throwing it over and over again when you're clearing through areas, and then when you're actually on a boss, you'll throw it down, Warcry, Rolling Slam on top of it. That seems like the pretty obvious play to me. And then Ancestral Cry is like the big new ult. Again, don't know if it'll be any good, but if it is, I'm going to try and spec into a bunch of Warcry nodes to make it really good. And Ancestral Warrior Totem, same kind of deal. It's totems. I've never liked that playstyle, but maybe I'm going to change my mind in PoE 2. Maybe I'll love it and I'll spec into a bunch of totem nodes instead. Who really knows? All right, I think that kind of covers it in terms of the passive tree, the ascendancy, the skills, how to play the character. That ultimately is warrior in the campaign. It slaps. I guess it slams technically, but it comes online pretty early. You basically are fully online by like the middle of Act 2. You move through zones really quickly. You demolish bosses if you use Perfect Strike correctly. You have tons of clear. I'm really hyped to play it in patch 0.3. I am locked in. It's warrior time. All right, that's it. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and join the Skipping Sleep Studio Discord so you can say hello to me and Sunset if you haven't already. And finally, thank you to all of our channel members. If you want to support us so we can keep making more PoE content, become a channel member as well. Thanks for watching. Bye.